Hello, welcome to your next video on the other ways to find slope. You will be able to find slope using tables and equations. So the first one we're going to talk about is how to find slope given a table. And you already know that slope is the change in y over the change in x. So we're going to apply that to what we know. Here's my first example of a table where given the number of cars washed and the amount of money that was made from that. So what you do is you find the change in the x values and you find the change in the y values. And in case you forgot, this is your x and this is your y. Typically the x is always listed first on the left hand side, so that's how you know. So here we go, going from 5 to 10, that is a change in 5. 10 to 15 is a change in 5. 15 to 20 is a change in 5. Because that is a constant change, we know that we're dealing with a straight line. And I should really continue over here before I keep talking. So 40 to 80, that's 40. 80 to 120, that's another 40. And then the last one's 40. Okay, so because everything's a constant change, we know that it is a straight line, which means it has the same slope. It's what we call a constant rate of change, and so we can take our change in y, which was 40, over our change in x, which was 5. And then we can simplify that down, and 40 divided by 5 is 8, or 8 over 1. And so then our slope in this example is 8. Let's do another example quick. Here we just have a table that's sideways, and it's nicely labeled. The distance is our x and seconds is our y. And then typically when a table is sideways, x is typically on top. So that's another way you can go about identifying. But your change in x from 0 to 1 is 1, 1 to 2 is 1. All of these are 1, which you can tell fairly quickly. And then our change in y is a change of 5, and it is a positive 5 in all of these cases, and a positive 1 in all of these. You do want to make note of whether you're increasing or decreasing. In both of these examples, we are increasing, which makes our slope positive. If it were to decrease, that would be negative. So just pay attention to what's happening. And then our change in y, which was 5, over our change in x, which was 1, and 5 over 1 reduces down to 5. So the slope of this example is 5. Your turn. Please identify the slope using the table, and then you will enter your answer on the Google form. You can do it right away, or you can save it till the end, because there will be another one coming up. The next part of this is given an equation, finding slope from that. So we have two problems that we're going to do together. First one is y equals negative 2x plus 7. What you're going to do actually is just make a table. And we're going to have x and y values. And you can pick whatever x values you want. I like to keep it simple. So I like to use like negative 1, 0, 1, things like that. You want it, or even 2, you want to have easy to work with numbers. You don't want your math to be super terrible, difficult. And it's always a good idea to have a positive and a negative also. But what you do is you just take that x value and then you insert it in and evaluate for what y equals. So I'll write this out for you, but negative 2, and then here's where we insert our x, which is negative 1. Negative 2 times negative 1 is 2, plus 7 equals 9. Same thing here, negative 2 times 0 is 0, plus 7, that's 7. Negative 2 times 1 is negative 2, plus 7 will give you an answer of 5. And then, oops, And then we have negative 2 times 2, which is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 7 is 3. And now that we have that table, we go back to what we just talked about in this video, and you find the change in y over the change in x. So change in y, as we go from 9 to 7, that's decreasing by 2 every single time. So my change in y is negative 2, or down 2, so my slope is going to be negative. And then my change in x is just going up by 1 every time. So it is negative 2 over 1, which is just negative 2. So my slope of this one is negative 2. You might also see equations that look like this, where y isn't by itself, and that's okay. We can still go through the same process. So you're going to make a table with x and y, and you're going to pick your x and y. I will give you a hint, though. When you are using an equation that does not have y by itself, you want to use x for 0, and you want to use y for 0. It's just going to make your math a way easier, and you'll see why in just a second. You can use other values than that, like I'll pick the number 1 for this case, but it makes it way easier. So here we go. You're going to evaluate, and you're just going to drag and drop whatever you're inserting in from your table into the equation. So here we have x is 0, so 5 times 0 is 0. Plus 3y equals 15. And here's where you use your mental math, because 3 times what number is 15? Because this is 0. So 3 times what is 15? Well, obviously, that is 5. So your coordinate then would be 0, 5. And then when we do y is 0, you're going to insert in 0 for the y. So we have 5x plus 3 times 0 equals 15. And then same thing, this cancels out. So we have 5x equals 15. In other words, 5 times what number is 15? And that is 3. And then the last one, this one is a little bit trickier just because we're not working with 0, but still doable. So 5 times 1 is 5, and plus 3y equals 15. So we have, in other words, we have 5 plus 3 times some number equals 15, and it's a guess and check strategy, really. Trial and error. So 3 times 2 is 6, plus 5, that's 11. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 5 is too big. So really, it gets messy very quickly. And so that's why I'm choosing to use x for 0 and y for 0. You actually don't really need that third one. Although it is solvable, we're actually not going to. I just wanted to show you why you want to pick 0 for x and 0 for y in these types of problems. Now that we've done all of this, we can find the slope. So the change in y, so we went from 5 to 0. The change is going down 5, and then going from 0 to 3. That is a positive 3, so my change is negative 5 over 3. In other words, my slope, m, is negative 5/3. All right, your turn. What is m when y equals negative 4x minus 2? And don't forget to make a table and then put an answer on the Google form. The last second I want to take is to talk about 0 and undefined. You can see them in equations and tables. So I just want to point these out quick. This one here, just at a quick glance, my change is 0 in x, and my change in y is 1. Y over x would be 1 over 0. And we know that you can't have the 0 in the denominator. It's not possible. If you put it in your calculator, it's not going to work, which is why we have an undefined slope for that example. You can also see y as being all zeros. So all zeros here and then values, whatever numbers here for x. That would mean that you have a 0 slope. So just stick that in your brain. You will also see an equation with y equals, and then it's just a number. What that means is when you make a table, y is always 3. No matter what x value you have. It could be negative, it could be 0, it could be positive, it doesn't matter. Your change in y then is 0. Your change in x is going to be whatever it's going to be. But your change in y is 0 over x, which is 1. And 0 in the numerator means that it's really just 0, which is a horizontal line. You can also see an equation that actually is x equals a number. Whatever that number is, it's just a sneak preview for you. If you see that, that would mean that it is undefined. But we're not going to spend too much time on those, but I just wanted to make you aware of those special situations. All right, name this song, and then we're done. The first person in every hour to email me the name of the song will receive candy. And I'm not proud of my address. In a torn up town, no postcode